You can see arrays are really neat for kind of grouping a bunch of information to a single variable. It really helps organize things, but there are other types of lists, and there is kind of a difference between these that we need to discuss. And these are probably the most important things in JavaScript, in my opinion. And these are called objects. And I'm actually going to rename this first list here to numerical lists. And those are going to be our arrays. And then objects are key value stores. Now, you're probably wondering what the heck that means. And I think the best way to illustrate that is through a demo. So an object, and let's create one, my first object, is all about the actual content inside of it, versus an array is more, the order doesn't really matter too much, and it's more just like a numerical list. So to illustrate that, you create an object almost identical to an array, except you use the squiggly brackets instead of the open brackets, and you have to pick a key for each of the values that we put in here. And so to kind of clarify what the heck that means, we pick a key. It can be anything we want. I'll call this key 1. And then we assign a value with a colon called key 1 value. And I'm going to quickly go through and create a list of 3 here. So we have an object where the order is less important now, and it's all about the things that we're putting inside of it. So we're assigning a key to a value. So let's log this just to see what it's going to look like. My first object. If we refresh here, we have key 3. We have key 1, key 2, key 3, and all the values associated with it. If we wanted to call a specific value now, we can just do my first object dot, and that's how you retrieve a value in an object, key 3. Log it, and that's how we get our third object key. So if we now wanted to reassign that, just like we did in the array example, we could do key 3 equals whatever I want with a bunch of exclamation marks. And you can see we're reassigning the value here. Now, this is all about the actual content. Order doesn't really matter on these because they aren't numerical. And you're probably wondering like a good use case for this. Like for a good way to illustrate this is there's like a common example with users. So you could do something like this. And you could do var user1 name is equal to Nick, var user1 hair is equal to Brown. And what if we had a second user? We would have these variables here. We'll just say Chris, black, and that's a lot of variables we're creating. What if there was even more information, like a list of 50 things? You would have a million different variables here. It would get unmanageable. So the correct way, this is why objects are kind of so useful in JavaScript. I'm going to take a note here for you in case you reference this later. And let's comment this out and show you how we could recreate that using an object instead. So we could say var noob1 is equal to name Chris, or that was Nick, and then hair was Brown. And it's a little bit more organized this way. And another way we could do this is actually, let's do an alternative syntax just to show you. So we could do noob2 name is equal to Chris, and hair of noob2 is Brown. And it's just for organizational purposes. Hopefully by the end of this, you kind of understand why you would do this. I would try to get really familiar with this syntax and kind of the idea of a key value, how to retrieve it, how to override it, because the entire JavaScript future is going to kind of circle around this.